how are you? So I welcome you all here again in this video. So today we will see the remaining problem of Snakify, and today we will try to cover strings as well as while loop problems, and we will also speed up our coding speed. And so without wasting your time, let's start. So first of all, we will see problem related to slices. So if you don't know what is slicing, so slice is nothing but we haven't given any string as an input and we have to find its particular characters. So even we have given such we have to find its third character, or even last, second or third character, or even we have to print whole string. So whatever operations we have given on a string, like I am saying particular string character I have to print, so that is nothing but this is a slices. So okay, so I want to tell you one thing, like if this is a string, so its index start from the 0 and so on. So a index is 0, then b index is 1 and r index is 2. So let's read the problem. So in the problem we have given as such, in the first line we have to print the third character of the string. So what is the third character? R. We have to print this. And in the second line we have given, we have to print the second last character of this string. And in the third line, what is this given? We have to print the first 5 characters of the string. So in the next line we have given print all, but expect we have to leave last 2 characters. We would not include in our output. And in the fifth line it is given, we have to print all the characters if even indexes. Remember, our index starts with 0. In the sixth line it is given as such, we have to print all the characters of the string with odd indexes. So this problem statement is quite very straightforward. So here you can see these are the basic we have given. So in the ninth line it is given as we have to print the length of the string, and in the eighth line it is given we have to print every second character of the string in reverse order starting from the last one. In the seventh line it is given as print all characters of the string in the reverse order. So let's see how we can do it. So first of all, I will take an string input from the user. So I will take a variable name as an input from the user. So now what we would do here, we would simply print the second character. As we have given, we have to print in the first statement we have given, we have to print the third character of the string. So I would write a print statement, and then whatever my string is there which user will enter, I would simply use this square braces and I will write the index here, so it will print that character. So as I have told you, a index is 0, then b index is 1 and r index is 3. R index is basically 2. So we will able to print 2 if we write as such 2 index, so which is r. If I would run this, I would get r as my output. So same as like we have to do with all the statements which we have given in the first problem. So in the second line we have to print the second last character of the string. So what is the second last character of the string? It is r. We have to print second last. So if we do, instead of plus 2, if we do -2, then we will be able to print the last character of the second last character of the string. So by if we want to print this last character of the string, which is a, so we have to simply, instead of -1, we have to write here -1. So from, if we have to print the characters from the last, we have to write simply -1. This is -1 character, this is -2, and so on. So in the next line, what we have given here, we have to print the first 5 characters of the string. So for printing the first 5 characters of the string, I would write here colon and then write here 5. If I write as such, so its index by default start from the 0. If I run this, I can able to print first 5 characters. So in the next line, what I have to do, I have to print all characters of the string, but expect last 2 characters. Last 2 characters I haven't have to print. So for that, I would, starting from the 0 index, and I have told you like we haven't have to print the last 2 characters. So if I run this, I would be able to get whatever I want. So in the next line, what I have to do, I have to print the even indexes of the string. So what I would do here, I would use a print statement, and then whatever user will enter output in the square braces, my index start from the 0, and I have to if I would not write here ending and if I would not write anything, so it will go from the 0 index till the last index of the string. So we have to print the even indexes. For that I will write here 2. This is basically we are incrementing or decrementing. If I use here -2, then it will decrement. If I use +2, then it will increment. So if I run this, you can able to see, so first character is A, then after first two characters if we add 2, so with what string we are getting, this R, so it will print this. So likewise it can go on. So in the next line what we have to do, in the next line we have to print the characters with odd indexes. So for odd indexes I would do here what, simply I would start from the 1. So it is given we have to start from the 1 index, and wait, starting with the second last we have to print odd indexes of the string. Okay, so for odd indexes, as we know, we have to start from the 1 and go still. So this is my first index, first character. Okay, so basically we have to print what we have this string, we have to print this. We have to start from the first character and then adding, if I add 2, I have to print this character and then this character and this character. So likewise, so if I write like this, I can able to print. Basically I am trying to doing what here, I am starting from the index 1 and incrementing 2 in the string, then I would get this as my output. In the 7th line what is given me here, I have to print all the characters in the reverse order. So for printing the characters in the reverse order, what I have to do, I have to simply do here, starting from the -1. If I run this, wait, I have to remove this 0. Yeah, now I would be able to get. So in the last what we have given, we have to print every second characters in the reverse order. For the second last character I have to use here -2. If I run this, I am getting this. I hope you are getting what I mean to say. So in the last we have to simply print the length of the string. So this is very much simple. We have used print statement and then simply use the length function, which is generic function. So we would use here, and whatever our string is there, so we would apply it, give it argument to that length function. So if I run this, I would be able to get the length of the string. If I check my solution for all the test cases, yeah, I would get this message as correct, congratulations. So my solution is working for all the test cases. Now let's move toward the next problem statement. So the next problem statement is about the number of words. So basically problem statement is given as such. We have a given string consisting of 2 words separated with spaces. So we have to use here count method. So for example here we have given test cases. We have given this string and we have space in between the string, and I would consider this string as my first string and this is my second index. So I have to calculate this. So if I would add on these two strings, I would get to know this is my first and this is second. So if I would calculate how many total strings I have to. So I have to done this. So I have done here simple code. First of all, I would in the print statement I would simply take first of all input from the user, and in that input I would do simply what, I would add a count method, and count method basically returns me the number of elements with the specified value, and I would keep on, if I would get anywhere space, then I would increment it with 1. So I would run this, I am getting 2. If I check my solution for all the test cases, it is working fine. So let's see the next problem statement. So the next problem statement is given as such. We have given string and we have to cut it into 2 equal parts. If the length of the string is odd, then place the center character in the first string. So see here, what is the problem statement given here? If my this is my input and I have to reverse. First of all, I have to find its mid. So this is my even string, so I would simply add see here it is given, so that the first, if it is my even input, then I would know like one character is there and one is there, and I have to simply reverse it. So then I would write the last character as in the first position and the first position character in the last position. So what if my input which user will enter is odd, then this middle element I have to keep with the whatever the mid element, I have to keep this with the first half of the string, which I would be able to, when I would output it, I have to add it in the last. So I have also done this code for this. I have done here simply as I have taken the input from the user, and then simply using print statement, I have first of all I have find the length of the string, and then simply done the +1 here in the length of the string, and then simply divided it by 2. So I would be able to find its first half mid. So I will check for all. Basically this is my first starting index, and I am starting till last index of the string. So for the same finding the last mid of the, for the remaining string, if I have to find the mid, then I would use this formula again. I will be able to find the mid, and then using whatever I am writing in the print statement, I would be able to write, like I am checking first of all, here you can see, first of all I am finding the length of the whole string. So how first half length, how I have find, I'm starting from the using length function, I am incrementing it with 1 and then simply dividing it. So from here I can able to find. So here you can see I will checking for the last character till, and here my index will be starting is 0, and whatever my index at the first, I am reversing it. So for this like this we can do. If I will run this, I would be able to get output as such whatever I want. If I would run my check solution for all the test cases, it is working fine. So I hope you have got the solution what I want to say. If you feel like this you can't get the solution, you can comment me. I would make another video on this to explain it, elaborate it in simple ways. So let's going towards the next problem statement. We have to swap the two words, but here we have given a task as we can't use if statements here. So basically we have given two strings here, hello and world. We have to simply reverse it, as you can see here. For that I would firstly remove all this stuff from here, and first of all I would take input from the user using input function, and then simply I would split these two strings into two parts. So I would take two variables, first word, and I would assign it to something as whatever string user will enter, and using square braces my index start from the 0. And first of all I would here we have given as such, we have to find the, we have to use I would use a find method. So basically find methods, we can use a find method as well as index. So find method, why I am preferring here most, basically the find method find the first occurrence of the specified value. So like here you can see from the space I am doing the reversing. So here you can see I am starting from the 0 index, and then whatever string user will enter, I am using here find function. So it will whatever I would pass a empty string inside this find method. So wherever my whenever I run this program, wherever I find space, so from there I would consider this as my first word, and for the second word I would do the same. So like this I have divided the first both the strings, and its name I would write as second word, as W in short. So now I would do here what, in the second word I would be incrementing it with 1, and instead of the last, basically we are trying to reverse it. So in the last we would simply print it. So first of all I would write here, so we have to write first second word as in the first position, and then simply using plus operator we have to concatenate, and then space we would write first word. If I run as such, so I can able to find here the output. So we are getting a wrong output here. So let's check why we are getting the wrong output here. Okay, now we have to pass here the space. Wherever we would get space, we are reversing our string from there. If I check our solution for all the test cases, it is working fine. Now let's see the next problem statement. So next problem statement is about we have to find the first and the last occurrence of the given string. So here we have a given string, and that may or may not contain the letter of interest. So print the index location of the first and last appearance of the f. So we have been given a string as such. This is the input which user will enter, for example, and we know like f is here. So its index is, you can calculate from this. It is starting from the 0, and we have to calculate the index of the 3. We have to calculate the first and the last occurrence of the f. Occurred once, we have to print its index. So if the letter does not occur, we have to print. We don't have to print anything. Then so first and the last. See here. So this is the first and the last. So if I would starting from here 0, 1, 2, and this is 3. So we have to simply print its index. So I would remove this unnecessary stuff from here, and using first of all I would take input from the user, and then using count function, as I have told you, like count method returns the number of elements with specified value. So I would use that here, and here I would write a check statement here. If whatever user will enter string, then count, and the argument I would pass here f. So it would check within the whole string if wherever it would find f. So my condition is true, and simply I would do what I would simply print as dot find. So basically it will return me the index of the f, or I can simply do here elif. What if I can't? So I have also I have to check for the last occurrence also, so we would not forget about the last occurrence. So there might be some test cases where we have here you can see there are many f's here, so we have to check it the last occurrence also. So we would write here elif, and then simply I have to write here the condition also as dot count, as we have written in the first condition. So I would write here f, and if it is greater than 2, so what does it mean? Like if we are getting more times f in our statement, for that we are trying to execute this elif statement. So I would simply print there using print statement as dot find. So we would first of all find the first occurrence of the string, and then simply with comma I would separate this second string also, and here I would use RFind. So RFind is nothing but basically it is used for finding the last occurrence of the element. So wherever we have to find the last occurrence, there we use RFind. So this is new, so you can keep this with you. So wherever we have to find the last occurrence, there we use RFind. So if we check our solution for all the test cases, it is working fine. So now let's see the next problem statement. We have to find the second occurrence. So problem statement is given as such. We have a given string, and that string may contain or not contain the letter of interest. So whatever letter we want to find, as in we have done in the previous question, we have to find the occurrence of the f. Print the index location of the second occurrence of the letter f. So here see, here read the full problem statement. We have given a condition as if the string contains the letter f only once, then we have to print -1. If it doesn't contain f, then we have to print -2. Okay, I would remove these all necessary stuff. So if we are getting one time f, we have to print -1. If we are not getting any f in our input, so we have to print -2. If we are getting 2 f's in our statements, so we have to print the second occurrence of the as here it is given 2 f's, so we have to print the second occurrence of the f. So first of all, we would take an input from the user. So I would use your input function. So let's see how we can use input function for taking the input. So I would take a variable name int, and using input function I would be able to take input from the user. Now I would add a check statement here, and then use the count as we have done in previous question. So I would check in the whole string if wherever I would find this f, if my condition is true, then I would simply print -1. Okay, you have to write a colon also, and then a space, and elif as we have done as dot count if we are finding occurrence of the f less than 1. So we would simply do what? We would simply print -2, and by default last case would be what? If we are getting 2 f's, so then we would simply do here what? We would simply use here print statement, and then we would find the index as dot find, and in that we would write the which string we want to find, and then separate it with comma. Then again using find, we would find the second occurrence, and then +1 here. If I would run this, and if I check my solution for all the test cases, it is working fine. So here we have done nothing, but here we are checking, like if we are getting f as for one time, we are printing -1. If we are not getting any f, so we are printing -2. If we are getting so whatever question we have given, we have to print the if we are getting 2 f's in our input, so as here, so we have to print its second index. So here second index, you can see here, this is my first occurrence of the f, and this is my second occurrence. So its index will be starting from the 0. If I count 0, 1, 2 and 3, so 3 I simply printing here. And then remove the fragment is next one, problem statement above. So given a string in which the letter h occurs at least twice. So we have given a string, and in that letter h is occurs at least twice. We have to remove from the string the first and the last occurrence of the letter h, as well as all the characters between them. So I would remove all this stuff from here, and see here it is the input we have given, and we would check our input. Here is the first h occurrence we are getting here. We would simply do what? We will ignore all these values from this index, and now you can check at the last of the string where we are getting this h. So if you can keep on checking, you can see here in the hobbit word, you can able to see something as h in the starting. So we have to ignore all these words between this first h and the last h. If I would remove all this, then we are getting something as in, and then t including with that word, TOBIT. So that's it, we have to print it. And how we can do it, let's see. So first of all, I would simply use first of all take input from the user. Using input function, I am able to take input from the user. Now I would use a simply print statement here, and using f as dot find, and I would right here the occurrence of the word which we have to check, H. So now we have to do what here? So instead of this print statement, we have to use here another string as S, and we are I would write here another string S, and I would assign this value S, and then starting from the first index of the string, starting from the 0, and checking if I would get somewhere as my index of the H, then I would simply this is for my if I would starting from the start index, and where I would find this H, and then I would checking for the last index, and I would simply use, as I have told you, we would use here the RFind function. So s dot RFind. So we are checking here the last occurrence of the word, so which is also H. I will ignore that word, so +1 would do as such. So I would be able to differentiate here, like if I would simply print as, let's see what output we would get. So we are getting correct output. So this is for finding the first occurrence of the H, and this is for finding the last occurrence. So whatever may be inside this, I would be ignoring that. So that's it we have to do in this problem statement. Now see the next problem statement. It is about the reverse the fragment. So here what we have given, so this is problem is something similar to the first problem we have done. It's only just a condition here given as, so wherever we would find this first occurrence of the H, so if I would add +1 to that string, so from the E I have to check for the same. So here the first, this is the first occurrence of the H, and this is the last. So whatever may be here, this E, I have to reverse that string. So this E would be gone here, and if I put reverse the whole string, you can see here E would be added to this in place of H, and this whole would be whole will be get reversed, and similar to whole string will be get as it is, as I'm telling you, like I am saying to you, it is going to be reversed. So we have to do this. So let's see the problem, how we can solve it. So first of all, I am taking input from the user. Using input function, I would be able to take input from the user. Then I would take a variable name A, and then whatever my string is there, I would simply first of all finding the first occurrence of the H. So as I have done in the previous problem, how we can find, I would use a find function, and then simply whichever character I have to find, I would write that, and then I would also take another variable B, and I would assign it that to the, in that I would check the last occurrence. So instead of find here, in this time we use the RFind. So as I have told you, RFind is used for finding the last occurrence of the index. I would also add here +1, and see here next here what we can do more, we can user s dot find, and simply write here F, and here we have to in between write colon. So I hope you will get you had get what I mean to write here. So we are starting from the first occurrence of the where I'm getting this F, and till that last index of the occurrence of the H where I'm getting. So I'm taking another variable here C, and in that I am doing this reversing logic. So whatever string is there, I would use the RFind function here, RFind method. In that I would write here the argument h and simply do the +1. So if I would do as such, I would write here the actual string would become as what, a plus b. In the b I would write 2 colons. I am starting from the first index of the that is 0 from the to the last index, and then I am reversing that string. So this is a, by this we can able to do this reversing in between the this whole string. So we would the reversing this e goes to the in the place of h. This is we are doing here in the b. So I have told you in very simple way how you can do it. So let's run this. So we are getting whatever output we want. So if I check my solution for all the test casing, it is working fine. Yeah, so let's see the next problem statement. So it is about the replace the substring. I hope you will get what we have to find here by the name of the problem. So here we have given a string, and we have to replace this string in such a way like all the numbers like whatever numbers are there, like we have given 1 plus 1, you have to replace one by simply writing this in string. So I would remove all this stuff from here, and I would use simply her print statement, and in the print statement, inside the print statement, I would write like whatever input user will enter, and to that input I want to replace with, like if the input is 1, I want to replace it with 1. Let's run it. Yeah, we are getting the correct output. We run our program, it is working fine, and it is working for all the test cases. So now let's see the next problem statement. It is about deleting a character. So we have a given string, we have to remove the character at the rate. So for example, this is a string we have given, and we have to remove this string character from the string, and we have to print remaining string. So for that, first of all, we would take input from the user, and then I would take a variable name b. In that whatever string user will enter, I have to replace the from that string if there is any at the rate character, and simply I would replace it with nothing. So I would simply print my string. If I would run this and check my solution for all the test cases, it is working. Now let's see the next problem statement. We have to replace within the fragmentation. So this is also similar as we have done previous, only in this case we have to replace the words. So just see, I replace every occurrence of h by the letter capital H, except for the first and the last ones. So whatever first and the last ones, we have to remain them as it is, but only in between all the this first between this one and or whatever is there inside this first h and the last h, we have to replace all occurrence of the h between it with capital H. So let's see how we can do it. Simply we would take input from the user, and then simply take a variable name a. In that, first of all, I would find the is there any letter from the start first index of the that is 0 till the last index of the string, is there any character? For that I would use a colon, and then simply use as dot find method in the string, and then I would simply do a +1, and then I would take another variable b, and in that I would use as dot find, and for the last, from the last where I would this b variable which I am doing here, this is for finding the I'm starting string from the last, and I am finding the index first occurrence of the h from the last. So this is too simple, even you don't have to need more explanation about this. So now we will make here another variable c, and we would use here r.find method, and simply write here and then we will use a colon, and it would go traverse our string at the till last. So now we will assign a string s, and then we will concatenate a and b, and then replace wherever we will see this capital H with this H. I would also use a like this, and simply do plus c at the last. Now I will print my as. Now let's see, it is giving me error as str, object has no attribute. Okay, str object has no attribute. So if we keep on checking where we are making mistake, so in the first line I am taking input from the user. Basically, by the way, this is our second last problem. Okay, second last. In this, simply we are first of all taking input from the user, and in the second line we are finding the first occurrence of the h. Okay, then we are taking another variable b, and in that we are finding the last occurrence of the h, and the next we are finding r.find. So here we are making mistake. I have written here dot, so we have to replace it. And here again we have to use the RFind. We are getting correct output. Now if I would run my solution, it is working for all the test cases. This is small mistake. Even by mistake I have written this dot, so when I would again check my code, I would be able to know like this is my problem. That's why I'm getting wrong output. So for the next time, for the next problem, see what is given here. So we have to delete every third character from the string. So this is also very much simple. So condition is what here we have to delete all the characters whose indices are divisible by 3. So for divisible by 3 we would simply use modulus operator here. First of all we will take input from the user, and then use a for loop, and for I in range we have used this range function previously, and we will find here the length of the string, and using colon I would do what here, I would add a check statement here. I would check if is there any index is divisible by 3. If any of the number will get divisible by 3 and its remainder we are getting as 0, then our condition becomes false and we will quit from this loop. So if we yeah, then we would make a variable named t, and we would keep on adding we will make a variable t, and then we would add t to this string index, and simply we would do what, we would print this t here. Let's see. So we have to skip the third character. Even what is the third character here? Odd indexes. So this is the odd index, this is the odd index, 0 1. So let's see, is this working? No, it is not working. So for I in range length, and we are checking here if any index of mine is divisible by, we are simply printing, yeah, I have added here space, so I have to remove that space. If I run this, okay, if I would add some, okay, I have to assign first of all this variable t to empty string. Now if I would run this, I am getting the correct output. If I check my solution, is working fine. So by this we have completed the string part. Now let's move toward the while loop. So I am trying to complete all the problems of the Snakify as soon as possible. So I would try to give to you more and more content. Let's see the first problem of the while loop. So for see here, if you get to know about how you can use for loop, so similar as for loop and if else statements we have used previous, you can also be able to use this while loop. So this is also similar to all these loops, so there is no need to explain about the what is the syntax and all. So only we have to write the while loop and condition and then colon, and in the next line we have to use print statement, whatever we have to do task or anything we have to write here there. So the first problem of the while loop is what about, we have to print the list of the squares. So we have given n, and we have to print the squares of the integer numbers, and which is less than to an ascending order. For example, we have given an input as 50 and we have to print its square. So we know we are starting from the 1. So 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, and we have to print all the squares till we would not get 50. So we have to print less, we have to print the squares of the number till less than 50. Where we would get 50, we have to stop. So how we can do it? So first of all, we would take an integer input from the user. So I would take a variable name and taking input integer input from the user, and then simply I would take a variable name I. So I would assign it to 1, like as I have told you, I have to start from the 1. So my while loop starts from the 1, and here I would write while loop. So why if we have all the loops also, if for n, then what is the need of while loop? Basically while loop, where we can use while loop, in that we can also use for loop, but a while loop is more preferred at such situation where we want to do a task when till our condition is true, we have to do the repetitive task. So for that we would use while loop. So we would write here as while and then our condition. So we would check, like this double star star means we are finding its power, so this is exponential, and we would multiply it with the 2, and we would check like whatever user will enter, like user will enter first of all the square root of any number, and we have to run our while loop till our condition becomes true. This while loop only works till as our condition is true. As it gets false, so we will stop. So it will check. I would make a variable name t here. I will simply use a print statement and simply print the square of the numbers, and I have to stop my while loop also. For that I will write a condition here as I would be incrementing by 1. If I run this, okay, I am able to printing all the squares. So basically we are doing what we whatever my I is 1, so I know 2. If I would write 2 into 1, so it is 1. If I would write 2 into 2, it is 4. So for the first time my value of I is 1, so 2 into 1 if I would do, I am getting 1. If I would next time I would enter the value of I basically as my this while loop runs once it is incrementing the value of I by 1. First time my I value is 1, in next time my I value becomes 2. So if I would write the 2 here instead in the place of I, if I would do 2 into 2, this is 4. So likewise we are printing the whole square, and we are checking till as if we are getting we have to print the numbers less than 50 or equal to 50. So that's it we have to do in this. Next see the next problem, we have to print the least divisor. So we have given an integer not less than 2. So whatever user will get user have to enter the input, and that input must not be less than 2. Even we have to enter, whenever we have to enter the input, we have to enter the input more than 2 or maybe equal to 2. So we have to print its smallest integer divisible greater than 1. So if you are not get it, I will show you what we have to find here. So we have entered here 15. So we have to find here smallest integer divisible by 1. So 15 is divisible by what? If I starting from the smallest index after 2 is what? 3 into 5. Even it is 15 is not divisible by 2. So we have next number as 3. So 3 into 5 I would get 15. So that's it we have to find. Okay, so let's see how we can find. So first of all, here we would take an input from the user. I would take a variable name x, and I would take an input from the user, and that input I would convert into integer, and then simply take a variable name n. I would starting from the 0. So I would write here the while loop and checking my condition till I would get the smallest divisor. For that I would check here condition, whatever user has entered the number, I have to check for the numbers which are less than less than the number which user has entered. So now I would do here what I would do an increment, and I would simply here print n minus 1 and n minus 2 into n minus 1. If I would run this, I'm getting 7 and 14. Okay, we are getting wrong output. So let's see why we are getting wrong output. Even we haven't added here we have not entered here as this is our second problem. So we haven't added here our condition. So we haven't added here till least divisor. Okay. Wait, I have done here wrong. So basically in problem we have given we have to find an integer greater than 1. Oh shit, I have done here the mistake. So first, basically whatever input user will enter here, we have to apply a while loop here, and we have to find the smallest integer greater than 1. So I would simply check whatever number user will enter, I would find its modulus with I. I would simply find its modulus with I, and I would write here a variable. So as I have told you, like my I should not be less than 2. So I would check here, is this, I will keep on checking it as till my condition becomes, as till I would not get 0. So now see, okay, we have to add here colon also, and then I would do simply I equal to I plus equal to 1, and then simply I have to print I. I would add here a space little bit. Okay, nothing I am getting. Let's see what is the problem again. We are simply taking first of all input from the user, and we are assigning our I equal to 2, and we are starting a while loop, and we are checking. So our I does not equal to 0. We have to find the smallest integer greater than 0. So if any number is divisible by our index, so we'll stop at that time. So if I run this, I am getting 3. So it is working, still not working fine for all the test cases. Okay, yeah, now it is working fine. So I have to just remove the space from the print statement. So now next problem is about the power of the 2. So basically we have given integer, find the greatest integer where 2 power is x and it is less than or equal to n. Print the exponent value and all the result of the expression 2 into x. We have to we don't have to use this star operator, as I have told you, like this is used for finding the power. I would remove all this stuff. First of all, here what we have to do, we have to find, we have given a number integer n. So first of all we would take an input integer n from the user. I would take it x, this input is in integer form, so I would convert it into integer, and then simply do what, I would take a variable name n equal to 0. So first of all our integer is our n is equal to 0 for a given integer n. Find the greatest integer x. So we have to find the greatest integer n. So where 2 into x is less than or equal to n. We have to also print the exponent value and all the result of expression. So we would simply do here what we would use here while loop. In the while loop we would do while 2 into n. So I would multiply whatever so first, for the first time my n value is 0, and we would try to increment it in the, so we would check as our condition, our while loop will be executed till as we till the numbers less than 50. As it gets equal to 50, it will stop, or it yeah. So for the next time we will incrementing this n value by 1. So we will simply here do what, we will print here n minus 1 value, and simply we would also print 2 into n minus 1. So I have told you like okay, let's run this. So yeah, let's see what problem we are getting here, why we are getting our output as different. So here basically we are doing we have to use star star, if we can use like this, and then simply starting from the 0. Okay, n is 0, n plus 1, and yeah, just yeah, now we are getting correct output, and our solution is also working for all the test cases. So here you can see the square which is equal to leave it. So we will see the next problem, morning jog. So this problem statement is nothing but basically it here in this problem statement we have given as such, we have two inputs x and y, and like as a future athlete you started your practice for upcoming event, so we would always increasing 10% increment in our distance from the previous day. So print one integer representing the number of days to reach the required distance. So this problem statement is very straightforward. So see here, we would take two input numbers from the user, and using input function I can able to take the input from the user, and the next I would do here what, I would simply replicate this here, and then using, first of all I would make a variable name count and assign it to 1. Then using while loop I would continue till x becomes greater than y, as my I would continue till y. So whatever the value of y, I would be starting from the x and I would continue till y. So I would write here condition as x plus equal to, then I would be multiplying it with the 10% every day I am increasing. So I would incrementing my count, I would write here plus equal to y1. So whenever we are starting while loop we have to also stop our while loop. So for that we have to write here the iterator also. So next, in the next line we would write here print statement, and in the print statement we would convert our output in the string. So by str function we can able to convert our integer input to string. If we run this our count is not defined, so we will define here count. So if I run this I am getting the output as 9, so that's it we want. If I run my solution, it is working for all the test cases. Now for the next time we have to print the sequence, length of the sequence. I would remove first of all this unusual which we didn't need, this stuff, and we have to print the length of the sequence. What is the length of the sequence? See here, given condition we have given a number. In every number where each number is written in the separate line, and determine the length of the sequence. We have to determine the length of the sequence first, and where the sequence ends with integer 0, we have to print the length of the sequence. So see here, as we are getting here 0, so starting from the 0 index, 0 1 2 3, on the third index we are getting this 0, so we have to print this its index. So how we can do this, let's see. First of all, I would write here a variable name count equal to 0. Okay, and then starting my while loop, and in the while loop, this is a new, you can keep this, like in the while loop I can able to take input from the user, and using input function inside the while loop, this is I am doing for the first time, and like this we can also do. And I would check my condition as it my input does not equal to 0. So I would write a variable name count, and I would increment it with 1, and wherever I would find 0 I would stop, and I would simply print its index. So if I would print this count, I would be able to find the index. If I check my solution for all the test cases, it is working fine. So next problem statement is about, we have to find the sum of the sequence. So determine the sum of all the elements in the sequence ending with number 0. So I would first of all remove this stuff. So we have to calculate the numbers. 1 plus 7 is 8, and 8 plus 9 is 17. So we have to calculate this. So this is given in our problem statement. So I would make a variable name as, and I would assign it to 0, and then I would take input from the user, and after taking input I would start a while loop here, and I would write a condition here, as my whatever input user will enter, it is not equal to 0. So I would add a colon at the end of the while loop, and then I would simply increment that number to my original string. Whatever my original string, I am adding it into the string which I have assigned to it. So I would write here a equal to int, like it is user will enter input. So we are getting our answer in the new output, new integer. So we will simply print that string. It's giving 17, so it is working fine. So if we check our solution for all the test casing, it is working. Now let's see the next problem statement. It is about average of the sequence. So we have to find in this problem, determine the average of all the elements of the sequence ending with number 0. So in this problem statement, let's see whatever test cases we have given. Yeah, where I have to stop where I would find this 0, and I would calculate all these numbers. So I know its sum is what, its sum is about 17. So I would divide 17 with 3, I would get something as 5 point something. So that's it we have to find. So let's see how we can do it. And first of all, we would find we would take a variable name as and assign it to 0, and then I would take another variable name n, and I would also take it I would also assign it to 0, and then I would take input from the user, and after taking input from the user, I would start a while loop here, and I would write a condition. I will continue till as I would not be able to find 0. As I would find the 0, I will stop. So whatever my string s, I would incrementing it, whatever input user will enter, I would first of all finding its sum. So I would one by one adding, keep on adding the string, whatever input user will enter. So for the next time, whatever my n is there, I would be using assignment operator, and also incrementing this whole n, my n. Now in the next line, I would do what, I would simply write here, like I would write here my input, what user has entered, and then simply press shift and tab, and then write print statement here, and then in the print statement I would simply divide Sn by n. Now I would be able to find its average. So only by dividing, after first of all we would find the sum, and then we would check like what is the index of that number, and then divide by the total number. So if we check our solution for all the test cases, it is working. Now let's see the next problem statement. We have to find the maximum of the sequence. So maximum of the sequence means what? In the whole string, wherever we would see the 0, we have to find the maximum number in the whole string. So I will remove all this unusual which I didn't want. I will first of all write it, take a variable name max and assign it to 0, and then I would take an input from the user, and after taking input I would start a while loop, and I would add a condition. My while loop will continue till it finds 0. The next line I would write a check statement here, and I would write a check statement as my a is greater than max, and I would simply do what my max equal to a, and then I would take a variable a equal to int, and then simply write here input. Would write a print statement, and then simply I would print the max. Let's run this. I'm getting the maximum number among all the numbers. So if I check my solution for all that cases, yeah, it is working. In the next problem statement, we have to find the index of the, as we have in the first problem statement. This is also similar, but in this instead of printing this maximum number, we have to print its index. So first of all, let's see how we can do it. First of all, as in previous, we have done taken the variable as max, and I would assign it to 0. Why not? I should copy the code of the previous question. Okay, now let's see. Go here. I would paste it here, and I would here take a variable name I for index, and I would also take here one more variable name max underscore I. Okay, and now I would write here I plus equal to 1. Now I would print here this max I also I would assign it to 0, and let's see if we are missing something. I would also write here max underscore I equal to, I would be assigning it to my index. Wait, I have to print here max I. So this is for my index, so I am getting its index 2. Let's see where we are getting facing the problem. So here we have to write one I only. First of all, I would write a check statement, and I would check and then write okay, let's check again what is the problem we are getting here. So this is a problem about index of the maximum sequence. So what is given in the problem? Index of the maximum sequence. So here it is given as a sequence consists of large numbers. So a sequence consists of integer numbers that ends with 0. Yeah, we have done this, and determine the index. Okay, and determine the index, the largest sequence if the highest element is not unique. So we have started our maximum index of a sequence. So first of all, as we have taken this here, and this element, now let's see again where we are making a mistake here. This I have to set it with 1. Basically we are counting the numbers now, so we not be able to write here 0. So if I would run this, okay, I have to use a print instead of rent. Now I am getting the correct output. If I would run this, I would check this is working fine. Now let's jump to the next problem statement. Determine the number of the even elements in the sequence ending with number 0. First of all, I would remove all this stuff, and as I have removed all the stuff from here, now we would what we have to find here. So basically you can see here we have to find the even numbers. So this is our first even number and this is our second even number. So if we calculate this, so this is our first and this is our second. So we are having here 2 even numbers. One we have to print 2. So like this we have to check for all the SKC and we have to print similar. So let's see how we can code. So for saving our code, I have done my code in the Visual Studio. So I will simply show you that. Even I have explained you the what is a problem statement. So see here, even number sequence. So basically if we would copy this code from here we are doing nothing but as here you can read the problem statement. We have to find the even number. So first of all we would take an input number from the user, and then we are making a variable named count, that is we are initializing it with 0, and then we are starting our while loop. So while loop will execute run as until our condition is true. It will not be until it would find 0, it would run till then. So we are checking here we know like how we can able to find the even number. So if we divide any number with 2, if we are getting 0, then we can consider that number is even. So if we are getting something as like in any number, then we would increment our count with 1. Then whatever input we are getting we would write here and then simply print its count. So let's copy this code and check is it working. So I would copy this and paste it here, and if I would run this, I would be able to find like how many even numbers we have to find. So here in our case it is 2. If I check my solution for all the test cases, it is working fine. Now let's see the next problem statement. Next problem statement is about the number of elements that are greater than the previous. So we have to find here the number of elements which are greater than the previous. So let's see, greater than the previous. This is a code. So first of all let's read the problem statement. What we have to find here, we have to find like I would make a count variable. So see here, this is my number 1 and this is smaller than this number. So first number is this. So basically we have to find a number which is previous less than previous number. So first number we have got this, and you can also compare here. 7 is also less than 9. So we are getting here 2 numbers. So we would calculate simply 2. So if we can compare it with 0, then we can see here 0 is less than 9, but we are not having we are not getting after 0 as any number. So 0 less than number is, we can take it in negative, so there is no any negative number. So we will stop our while loop, and that's it we have to find. So for that I would remove all this stuff from here, and let's see the code. So we are making a variable named C and assigning it to 0, and then we are taking input from the user, and then I am making another variable A, and I am assigning it to the value of b. So I would run my while loop until I would not be able to find 0. My while loop will execute till until it would find 0. So if b is greater than a, then I would, b is nothing but my previous element. If it is greater than a, then I would increment it with 1 and then simply print the c. So let's copy this and paste it here. So yeah, as I have told you, like in our case we have two variables here whose previous is less than, so we are printing that. And let's check our solution, it is working for all the test cases or not. So it is working for all the test cases, fine. So let's see the next problem statement. We have to find the second maximum. I would first of all remove all this stuff and see here. So in this input we can find here this is a maximum number and which is our second maximum. So this if we come this 7 is our second maximum, so we have to print this. So let's see its code, second maximum. So I would be providing you the whole code in the description, so wherever you get stuck you can even reference my code and even you can also apply your logic. So in that, first of all I would assign a maximum, second maximum as -1. So even if there is no any maximum number is there, I would simply print -1. And I would take input from the user first of all and then set max equal to 0. Then I would start my while loop and check condition until I find 0. And here I would add a check condition here, from here I would first of all find the maximum number, and that maximum number I would assign it to the max2, and my max2 is no updated. No, I would again whatever my max is there I would assign it to a, and in the elif I would write here condition as whatever user will enter input, if it is less than a. So here a value is what it is maximum. If it is less than the second maximum, then we would print assign the value of second maximum equal to a and then print the second maximum. So let's copy this code and check it, is it works or not. So as I have told you what we have to find, so this is our second maximum number and we have find it. And let's check our solution, it is working for all the test cases or not. Yeah, it is working. Now see, next problem statement, we have to print the elements equal to the number of elements equal to the maximum. So we have to find here, see here, if we are here we are having our maximum number as 9, so we are only having one maximum number here. If we are having 2 9 in this input, then we can able to say like, yeah, we have 2 numbers, maximum numbers, so we can print then 2. No, in this case we are only having one maximum number, so we can print 1. So let's see for its code, that's it we have to do here. And let's see its code. So this problem is what this problem statement is number of elements equal to the maximum. So first of all we have assigned a variable name max equal to 0, and then we have started a count equal to 1. Even by default we have one element as maximum in our input, so it is by default we have, yeah. So in by any chance there might be some condition, like there might be cases where we would not having 0 input. So in that case there is a condition like where we would not be having any maximum number. So let's copy this code and paste it here. And here you can see like I am assigning my maximum value as 0, and then I am starting my while loop until as I find 0, and then I have added a check condition. From here I would be able to find maximum number, and then I am checking like I am having more number similar to the maximum number. So if there is no, then I would simply print 1. So that's it we have to find. Let's run this. Yeah, it is working fine for all the test cases. Now let's see the Fibonacci number. What are Fibonacci numbers? So if you don't know Fibonacci number, this is important. This might be asked in many of the in other programming language. You can Fibonacci numbers is very much important. So Fibonacci numbers is basically what? 1, it is starting from the 0 and 1 and 1, then 2 and then 3, then 5. So this is a sequence of the Fibonacci number. So by default Fibonacci number has 0 and 1. So how we are getting the next number? If we add these two numbers, 0 plus 1, then we are getting its next number. So if we are adding these two, we are getting 2. If we adding 1 and 2, then we are getting next number. If we adding 2 and 3, we are getting next number. So these are the Fibonacci numbers. So let's see what we have to find here. I will remove all this stuff from here. We have to print, we can also use for loop instead of while loop. So this solution can be found by both. So we have to check, like user has entered 6. So let's see the number at 6 index. So the number next to 5 is what? It is 3 plus 5 is 8. If I will count the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and this 6. So we have to print 8. So element on the 6 index is 8. So we have to print this. So first of all, let's write the code for the to find Fibonacci number. And see here, first of all, user has entered the number, and by default I have told you like Fibonacci number 1 and 2 is, for one number is 0 and then 2 number is 1. And then we are adding a check here. If my number is, if user has entered 1, then we would simply print 0, and if user has entered 1, then we are simply printing 1. So then we have added the else condition, whatever main logic of our code. If user has entered more than the 2, so our iterator will starting from the 2, and we have started a while loop here. We're checking our condition till as whatever the number user has entered, we will check our condition for that. So here you can see I am assigning Fibonacci number 2 value. As such, I am adding these two numbers. So we are here, its value is this one, and this value is, its value is this one. So and we are updating our iterator here and then simply printing the next number. So like this we can able to find. So let's copy this and paste it here. Yeah, we are getting the correct output. So let's check it. It is working? Yeah, it is working. So there might be some students like who would not be able to get this. So this is basically why I have done this. Basically I am assigning a fresh value to my variable. So that's why for the first time I have already assigned this value. So for making it fresh value, I have assigned like this. So don't be confused, it is very much simple. So in the next problem statement we have to print the index of the Fibonacci number. So in this problem statement we have print the Fibonacci number. In the next problem statement we have to print its index. So let's remove this stuff, and for printing the index I would simply told you how I can print. So same, first of all we would find the Fibonacci number, and then I would first of all I would copy, and let's check is this code is working. Yeah, it is working. I have told you like at index 6 we have element as 8. If I check my solution, it is working. So simply we have to do what I have assigned a user will enter first of all input, then we have taken Fibonacci number 1 as 0 and second as 1. Then if user has entered 1, then we will simply print a 1. Else I would assign value of I equal to 1, and I would start while loop until I would get Fibonacci number 2. So I'm starting here assigning here the fresh value. So the Fibonacci number here I would find first of Fibonacci number, and then I would find its index. So at what index my Fibonacci number is there. So yeah, if I would not find my Fibonacci number, I would simply print -1. Here you might some cases you can see like 54 is not a Fibonacci number, and for that we would print -1. And let's see the last problem of our today's tutorial. It is about the maximum of consecutive equal numbers, so equal elements. So in this problem statement we have to find see here, this problem statement says given a sequence of integer numbers ending with 0. This is same in all the problem statement, we have to determine the length of the white dash fragment and where all the numbers are equal to each other. So see here, the number 7 and 7 are equal to each other, so we know like these are the two numbers, and we have to print simply this. So let's see the code for it also. So I will first of all copy this, I pasted this, and let's run our program. Yeah, it is working fine. Let's check my solution for all the test casing. So as I have told you, like we have to find if we are getting two numbers, so we have to print that. Yeah, the 7 and 7 are two numbers, and it's how many times it is occurring, it's coming in this input 2 times, so we have to simply print it. So what we have done, we have considered like by default we have one numbers similar. If we are not able to get any number similar in our input, we would simply print 1. And next what we are doing here, we are taking input from the user and then making a variable name b, and we are starting a while loop until we would find any 0 in our input, until yeah, then we are taking fresh input from the user, and then we are adding a check statement here. If we are finding any same number, then we are keep on incrementing our chunk, and if we find like our chunk is greater than our maximum chunk, basically we are traversing our whole input. So for that we have added here again check condition. So if we find something like that, we will simply print our maximum chunk. So that's it we have to do here. So if you feel like my videos are going too long, I would try to do code from the previous and then simply show you the execution. This would be better, and I would explain you the problem statement. So this video is going too long, so if you don't get anything, you can comment me. I would make another video on that and try to tell you the things more simple as I can tell. So that's it for this.